Welcome. It's great to see. I can see a lot of faces on the Zoom screen. So it's great that there is a lot of interest in perhaps joining Port Stephens Council, and whether you're an apprentice, cadet, or a trainee, which we will describe in full very shortly. I suppose my role really is to give you a little bit of background about Port Stephens Council and why I think it's a great career choice. I may be biased though, so just bear that in mind. I've worked in local government myself for pretty much, by the look of me, a long time, but it's over 40 years. And as I said, I wasn't biased. My father actually worked in local government as well. And then my father-in-law, he worked in local government as well. So as I said, I may be a little bit biased, but I think it is a really great career choice for anyone considering, it really doesn't matter what area you're working. We cover a whole range of different things. Now, the image of local government, despite looking at these faces on the screen of some of our managers there, I have to admit it's not always portrayed as very glamorous or adventurous. It's not like being a fireman or a policeman or an astronaut, but it really does play a very key role in the communities that we all live in. So if you're looking for a job that you can really see a difference and make a difference in your local community over a whole range of different areas, I think this really is something to consider, and obviously why we've got your interest here. Local government at its core is about creating a better community where people live, and Port Stephens is a wonderful place to live, and we have very passionate community. We have very passionate staff. It's not just about roads, rates and rubbish, which is the general traditional view, but Port Stephens Council delivers over 60 different services across a whole range of different areas, literally from the cradle to the grave. We run childcares, we run cemeteries, and we run a whole lot of things in between. So too many to elaborate on tonight. So as a consequence, we have a requirement for a very diversified staff. We look for different skill sets. Whether you're an engineer or an accountant, or want to be an engineer or an accountant, or work in childcare or work in the trades or be mechanics or whatever it might be, Port Stephens Council, because of our diversity, can offer similar types of roles that are there. So it really is good for career paths. You might work in one area and decide later that, well, maybe I'm really favouring something else. With our learning and development programs, with the opportunities that we can offer for deployment into different areas, once you finish your qualifications and things, I can only say sky's the limit. A little bit about Port Stephens Council itself. We are a large employer. We employ something close to 600 different people. We have a budget of over $120 million. We've been around in this area here as a council for over 180 years. So we're very stable. It's a secure work environment. We offer fair days work for a fair day's pay, or fair day's pay for a fair day's work, whichever way you want to look at it. It really is a good career choice. So we're currently looking, and we have, as an organisation, just as an example, that we have currently, I think, about 17 apprentices, trainees and cadets on our staff. That's right, Brooke, we've got something around that number. Working as apprentices in parks and gardens, plumbing, electrical areas. We have trainees in construction, administration, events and tourism. And we have some cadets in building surveying, environmental health, property services and engineering. And we also, through our learning and development program, we support quite a number of existing employees to undertake apprenticeships while working, or to complete further education through assistance that we can offer. So as an employer and as a new employee, we really do have a lot of opportunities for people. So I hope I've just given a bit of a teaser to see where a career in local government can lead, and you'll be hearing from a number of our past trainees, graduates, cadets, and some of our managers about what services and what you can expect in this role. So, Brooke, unless there's anything else you want me to touch on,
No.
I know there's a lot to get through tonight, but I do hope that from some of these faces that I'm seeing on the screen here that we do get some really good applications and interest. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, Wayne. You're much better with words than me, so that's why I've let you have the longer intro. Thank you. So now, guys, we're actually going to hear from our very own apprentice trainees and cadets, or our ATCs as we like to call them, about their own experiences with PSC, both past and present, from going from a trainee or an apprentice or a cadet all the way through to their career now in the present time. So first up, we have Jacob Penny. So Jacob is our engineering cadet who commenced with us in our 2020 intake of ATCs. So Jacob, I can see you there on the screen. Welcome. I'll hand over to you and you can have a chat to us about your experience at PSC so far.
Thank you. So, hey everyone, my name is Jacob and I'm the engineering cadet here at Port Stephens Council. I've been with Council since January last year, 2020. So I first worked with the flooding and drainage team and now with the civil assets team. So my work for a day-to-day is pretty varied. So one day I might be doing some initial concept designs for improvements on our assets and maybe some customer service requests that have come in from the public. And then the next day I'll be out inspecting and auditing drainage or road assets. So essentially, if you've seen a council asset, or you know a council asset, you'll eventually work with it. So it's good because no 2 days are the same. There's always a new and interesting project coming through that you'll eventually get the opportunity to work on.
Awesome. And if you had to pinpoint it, Jacob, what do you think the best part of your cadetship has been so far?
I think the best part for me is probably being the support. Everyone at council is happy to help out with whatever you have. And if they can't help, they'll point you in the direction to someone who can. Your colleagues around you have been through the same thing that you're going through, whether you're at uni or at TAFE or in your studies. So they understand and they're more than happy to help out, whether it's uni or work related. And it's not only the colleagues, I find it's rare for a business to offer so much support, not only for your professional development, but for your mental health and well-being as well. I think it's just fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you, Jacob. I, from personal experience, can definitely agree as well. I think it's the support from everyone around you that really makes it worthwhile too. Next up, we're actually hearing from Samantha Davies. So Sam joined us at PSC in 2019 as our cadet planner. And has only developed her career from there with us so far. So Sam, I can see you there as well. How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent.
So as Brooke said, I'm Sam, and I'm currently a development planner at PSC. I was previously the cadet planner up until earlier this month. In my role, I am responsible for assessing and determining development applications, subdivision certificates, and providing pre-lodgement advice for applicants. I also answer any general planning inquiries on our duty service. And as a planning cadet, I essentially did a lot of the same things, but I also got to look at dwelling entitlements and help out with physical commencement assessments as well. And then I was responsible for organising the pre-lodgement meetings and organising the minutes after that.
Excellent. And I think your story is one that we always like to hear as well, Sam, where you've commenced as a cadet and then you've developed your career further and further, and now you've been successful in getting that permanent role within the team, which is really, really fantastic. So for those, I guess, at home watching on and listening, trying to work out if a cadetship is for them or not, why would you recommend them taking a cadetship with PSC?
I would definitely recommend a cadetship just because it is really flexible with study, and as Jacob said, the support is really, really good. So like for my particular cadetship, I had a study leave day that I could take to go to uni classes, but if my uni was split over 2 days, I could do 2 half days. I could also change that study day on exam weeks if needed, so that was really good to have that flexibility just so I could get that side of stuff done. But also you get really good experience in your particular like hands-on. You get to do the assessments and the determinations and the work yourself, but your team is there to train and support you. My team was really good at answering all of my questions. They still are, even when I have questions now. And yeah, they're really good just to get all of the experience and all the training you need so that when you finish your cadetship, you've got your degree and you've got real practical experience that you could take on to wherever you go from there.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point too about the on-the-job experience, Sam, while studying. It's something, I guess, as a recruitment advisor and Alex as well as an employment coordinator, we definitely look for is that experience. It's like great to have that qualification and that training, but it is even better to have that on-the-job experience. And something that we also offer at Port Stephens Council, which some of you might be interested in, is that work experience component as well. If you have that qualification and that degree and you are looking to obviously gain a little bit more hands-on experience within a team of like really highly engaged professionals, I guess that's something that we can definitely look into as well. And it's all on the website as well that I'll link you in the further notes below. So although we don't have any apprenticeship opportunities this time around, I still wanted you guys to hear from our apprentice, Matt Clarkson. So if you're interested in joining the team as one of our construction trainees, Matt joined us here in PSC in 2019 as our apprentice electrician within our building trades team. So now is the perfect time to tune in if you are looking at our construction trainees, because Matt will be able to give you a bit of an insight into an apprentice at PSC. So Matt, good evening. You want to talk us through your career so far?
Yeah, so I'm Matt. I'm a third-year apprentice electrician. My role is based off reactive maintenance. So basically, if something's broken, I'll come along and fix it. The council, though, such a wide range of different jobs we do. So some are very hard, some are, a bit easier than the rest, but always keeps you on your toes. I also do new installs as well. So I put in new barbecues, new pathway lights, or even flood pumps. And yeah, the bonus is I get to do it on some of the nicest beaches around.
Definitely a bonus. So thanks, Matt. Do you have any advice for those at home that might be thinking about applying for a traineeship or cadetship this year?
I mean, yeah, just to quote Nike, just do it. It's a pretty big decision to make now, but you won't regret it. So, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Matt. And I couldn't agree more with that one. So thank you so much to Matt, and thank you again to both Jacob and Sam for sharing your experiences with us too. We definitely appreciate it. So I mentioned at the beginning of the session that you'll be hearing from our hiring managers that you'll be working alongside if you are successful in one of our roles as a trainee or cadet this year. And that's what we're going to move into now. So you'll hear from managers such as Kate Drynan, Nicole LaGrange, Barry McDade, and Darren McSpadden about the opportunities that they have available for you within their teams. And as I mentioned earlier, if you do have any questions that they don't cover off on tonight, scribble them down next to you or type them out on your phone, as I'll be giving you some information on where you can send those through to us online, and we can direct them through to the correct people. So first up, we have Kate Drynan. So Kate joined us in 2018 as our Development and Compliance Section Manager, working within our Development Services group. So she brings a whole lot of fun to a very engaged group. So if you're interested in joining the team as a planning cadet like Sam was, now is your time to turn that volume up a little bit. So Kate, how are you? I'll hand over.
I'm very well tonight. Thanks, Brooke. Welcome to everyone online tonight. It's quite a new experience for me, so bear with me as I endeavour to present to you the exciting world of development assessment. As Brooke mentioned, I am the Development and Compliance Section Manager. I have 4 teams that work with me, including the development planning team, and this particular role as a cadet planner would report into that development planning team. The whole section is about 45 really cool people, honestly. I have a huge amount of respect for everyone within our team, and the development planning team are certainly no exception in that space. They are a great group of individuals that sort of really model that very customer-focused brand that we like to have here at Port Stephens Council. It's particularly important in our area where, our bread and butter is the external customers. Day to day, we're about service delivery to those customers and trying to negotiate outcomes with tricky people at times, but ultimately we try and do that in the best possible way and with the least amount of bother for all parties. Sometimes that means a bit of bother for us, but that is actually what makes our job interesting. So in terms of the development planning cadet role, look, Sam pretty much summed it up very nicely in terms of what your typical day would be. It's an undertaking development assessments, organising pre-DAs, assisting the public with their planning and building inquiries. And the thing that I love about planning, about the area I work in, is I get to get out and about in the LGA, or our local government area on a regular basis, to undertake site inspections, to firstly sort of see the sites that we may be looking at putting developments on. But what I also like is later going back and seeing what we've approved and seeing on whether or not it hit the mark from, the high standards that I set for myself at least. The other really great thing about the area that we work in, and I think it was touched on earlier, is that we live in a beautiful part of the world. So being able to go and do a site inspection out at Shoal Bay or Fingal Bay is always something that I really enjoy. In terms of the person that we're looking for in this cadet planning role, we're really looking for someone that models similar behaviours to what we've got now, someone who is a motivated person, someone that's obviously started or starting a planning degree, that is really customer focused and has a passion for planning, but also probably just a passion for making our community better. That ultimately is our roles as planners. So, if that sounds like something that you're interested in, we'd be really excited to receive an application from you guys.
Excellent. Thank you, Kate. I mean, who wouldn't want to work in a team like Kate's after she described it like that? So it's very good. Thank you for your time. In the interest of time, though, we are going to keep moving on. So I'm going to introduce you now to Nicole LaGrange, who will be chatting to us about the WHS trainee. So Nicole has been with PSC for a very long time, but you would not know that because she doesn't look a day over 21 and still shows up with the same enthusiasm that I'm sure she did on that very first day as well. So Nicole, thank you for chatting with us tonight. And do you want to talk us through what you've got for us?
Thank you, Brooke, and welcome everyone. Yes, I have been at council for a number of years and done a number of different roles. So that's really exciting that council does offer such diversity. But I guess I'm here tonight to talk about the work health and safety trainee. Now, if you were the successful candidate, you would be working under me and my supervision, and you would be working with my fabulous work health and safety team. I guess highlights of the role, and I guess the highlight for me, it's so diverse. One day is definitely not like the rest. Every day is different. You're out in the field, you're doing something different all the time. Yes, there's a bit of admin work involved, but you're also out there going to job sites, participating in a lot of meetings like health and safety committees, health and safety representative meetings. So you really do get a lot of hands-on experience, which I think is fabulous. You'd be learning all about safety compliance and also contractor management. So that will mean you would actually go out on the job and undertake safety audits, workplace inspections. I've already mentioned that you would be involved in a lot of committee meetings, which I think is really great because you get the opportunity to learn about all the different areas of council. You'd also learn all about injury management and the workers' comp system, which is a really interesting field to get in. And we also have a fabulous health and wellness program that you would also be involved in. So, organising things like flu vaccinations and health and wellness days, which, I think they're quite fun to be involved in. So just a little bit about our team. We actually work within the enterprise risk team, and within that team is environment, risk and safety. But within and more broadly, we work with the governance team, but within our specific safety team, I have myself, the safety manager. We also have a safety officer. We have our return to work coordinator. We have work health and safety admin support. We have two of those people. They job share. And we also have a contractor management admin officer. So as I mentioned, there is admin to this role, but also out in the field work. You're predominantly based in Raymond Terrace at our administration building, but you would get out in the field a lot. So I guess if you're an innovative thinker, prepared to learn, able to multitask, because that's what our team is all about. Enjoy a challenge, love a good laugh, because we are a team that likes to have a bit of fun. You're a good communicator and you want to make a real difference, apply. You'll fit right in with us. Reality is sometimes the decisions that we make actually change people's lives and can save people's lives. So if you think that's what you've got, and yeah, you're working really well with our team.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks.
Thank you. I can vouch for that as well. WHS and HR used to sit and share the same office, and WHS are definitely a team that you will want to join. There is never a dull day when they are close by. So thank you. You've definitely lived up to that one. Alrighty, next up we have Barry McDade, and he's talking all things engineering cadet. So Barry joined us in 2014 and he's currently our program manager for civil infrastructure within our capital work section. So his team are always hustling along with all their projects and keeping things moving. So thank you for sharing your time tonight, Barry. So if you want to talk through what you have for us as well.
Pleasure. How you going, Brooke?
Good, thank you.
Good. Yeah, so I'm Barry McDade. So I've been, like Brooke says, with council for 7 years, and I've been kind of surfing around the different, a few different coordinator roles in the organisation in that period. I'm a civil engineer myself by trade, and mostly delivering infrastructure projects between project management and design throughout my career. The successful candidate will report directly to me, and I'm very keen to make sure that that candidate gets a very rounded experience in terms of delivering project and all things engineering, mostly in the civil space. So the successful candidate would predominantly work in the capital works section, and we deliver all of council's civil and community infrastructure. So the capital works section then consists of survey team, a civil design team, civil project management team, a recreational project management team, a structures project management team, and a project support team. So I'm planning like that the individual will get experience across all those different disciplines and have a good understanding then once we progress through the cadetship of how things operate in all those different disciplines, I suppose. So through the survey team, like some people might consider, Wayne touched on it at the start, about working in local government and the stereotypes that might go with it. What we do in our section would kind of blow you away from that, and the whole organisation operates in the same manner, especially in our survey team. It's very, very progressive, and what they do in terms of 3D scanning and of the topography around us, and so we can push on with designs in that space and developing on from there and developing projects from there is absolutely amazing. It's mind blowing. And we're actually in that process of purchasing drones to move into that space as well. So it is very progressive, and like I say, we want someone to gain that experience and just a bit of knowledge on how everything operates in that space. So moving through the survey team into the design team, the civil design team working mostly in road rehabilitations, reconstructions, drainage projects. Occasionally we'll get more sexy things like roundabouts and traffic lights and complete new roads through different areas of CBDs or through rural areas as well through a greenfield paddock. And then in the civil project management team, you're taking those projects through the project management process and learning methodologies on how to manage project scopes and time and cost and quality on projects, which is all essential in creating that rounded individual. In our recreational team and structures team then, so the recreational team deliver even more sexier projects. They get the skate parks, boat ramps, wharves, pontoons, all those types of projects. And then our structures projects do all our vertical buildings. At the minute, they're working on an tourist information centre on the way into Anna Bay, or council's works depots being redeveloped. We're in the design process for that, as well as in the early process for admin refurbishment. So they're the kind of projects and ideas and concepts and designs and details that I'd like someone to get into. Outside of capital works, then we'd look at offering experience to people that work in the asset section in terms of understanding the traffic engineering and drainage engineering a little bit better as well, which is probably the world that Jacob at the start mentioned, and understanding a bit more about that process as well. So what we're really looking for is someone who's studying in civil engineering or project management or construction management. So really keen to see applications come through from people in those disciplines, and someone who has got a real thirst for knowledge and a can-do attitude to bring along and develop as best we can. In terms of the team that we have at the minute, we've got a really great group of people. It's a really young, dynamic, energetic, and fun-loving group of people who, like, it could be a highly stressful environment for working, delivering infrastructure, but it's done with a really calm approach and a calm head across the section and across council as a whole. So everything's done very collaboratively, and we work really well together to deliver all that infrastructure in the best way possible. We've got a team indoor of 29 staff, so there's a lot of people there who can bounce different ideas off, get different opinions off, and learn your trade as you go through. And then we've got about 35 of our outdoor civil construction crews as well, 35 people in those crews. So then you can learn like the construction methodologies and how we develop in the actual construction phase as well. So it's very exciting time to join us as well, Brooke, because this is a record-breaking year for Port Stephens Council. We are delivering the largest programme that we've ever delivered before in terms of infrastructure. We're delivering over $45 million worth of projects this financial year, so that's a very exciting time for us. We broke the record 2 years ago. We broke it last year, and we're breaking it again this year. So it's a great time to get on board, and we'll look forward to any applications coming through.
Thank you, Barry. And you all heard it here first. It's a record-breaking year. So what better time to join Barry's team than right now? So last but definitely not least, I'm going to introduce you to Darren McSpadden, who is our roadside and drainage coordinator. So similar to Nicole, Darren still comes in with the same youthfulness and enthusiasm as he has been here for a number of years also at PSC. But I will let Darren have a chat to you about the construction traineeships that he has available within his team. So what do the people need to know at home, Darren?
So thanks, Brooke, and good evening, and thank you all for taking the time to Zoom with us tonight. So I'm Darren McSpadden. I'm the roadside and drainage coordinator. As part of the works hand trainee, you would spend some of your time working with me and my team. However, you would also work with construction and the roads team. Throughout your traineeship, you'll report to a team leader, and you will generally be working with 1 to 8 people in your team, and it could vary day to day. The role on offer works and traineeship, you will be studying Cert 2 in civil construction in the first year of the traineeship, and if you perform well and are enjoying your work here at Port Stephens Council, we can extend your traineeship further 2 years, reviewing annually, offering you Certificate 3 in civil construction. We have been offering this traineeship for 2 years now, and it has been very successful. Some trainees have gained full-time employment with Port Stephens Council. So what does the role look like? Like all other roles within council, that no 2 days are the same. As mentioned earlier, you rotate through different construction and maintenance teams on a 4-monthly basis that complete civil works. This includes the roads team, placing asphalt, preparing roads, potholing and heavy patch. The capital works team, which includes all new construction works, set out, drainage, road building and rehabilitation, curb and gutter and concreting, and then the roadside and drainage team. Here you will undertake maintenance on all works from curb and gutter to the boundary. You'll complete maintenance on works such as pipe and open drainage, vegetation including trees, signs and guideposts, pathway repairs and curb and gutter repairs. Your hours, depending on which team you are in, are either 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. and your finishing time is generally 3:30 or 4 p.m. The teams have a flexible working arrangement. Some teams have 1 RDO a month, others have a 9-day fortnight, and others have a 4-day week. During your first year of your traineeship, you will complete competencies as part of your Certificate 2. You will earn several competencies during this period, such as traffic control, stop slow, and implement traffic control plans, LR licence, safe work near power lines, and chainsaw. While in the 2nd and 3rd year, as part of your Cert 3, you will gain backhoe, posi-track, excavator licence, and Port Stephens Council will assist you to gain your MR or HR licence. At the end of your traineeship, You'll be equipped to take on a role at Port Stephens Council or any other civil employer across the region. Across the three teams mentioned, roads, construction and roadside and drainage, there's approximately 70 full-time employees. We currently have 3 depots, Heatherbrae, Raymond Terrace and Nelson Bay. Your starting point will change as you move through the teams. We love to have a bit of fun while getting the job done. We support each other and encourage each other to become better employees and better people. We look forward to meeting you soon and seeing you have a successful traineeship with us.
Thank you, Darren. I think a key thing, I guess, to highlight from what Darren's just spoken about is how much time we actually do really invest in not only our ATCs, but also our employees. So we're always ensuring that you have the correct training and the tools to be able to not only just do your job to the best of your ability, but also as safe as possible as well, with a team that supports you throughout that. So on that note, I think it's a really good segue into our next topic and for me to introduce you to our Learning and Development Advisor, Julianne McDougall. So Jules, the ATC program is your baby of sorts, and one that you yourself have dedicated a lot of time and effort into. So do you want to have a chat to those at home on what your role is in all of this as a trainee or cadet this year?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brooke. As Brooke said, I'm Julianne, or my name I commonly go by Jules at Council. And I am the Learning and Development Advisor. So part of my role is I get the fantastic opportunity to support all the apprentices and trainees and cadets all across Council. This year, our traineeships that are on offer, the Work Health and Safety traineeship and our construction traineeship, they'll last in duration between 12 months to 2 years in duration. And our cadetships are slightly different, and they'll vary, I guess, in length, depending on whether you're about to enrol in your course or whether you're partway through your university studies. One of the key things, and I think you've probably heard it all tonight, is that Port Stephens really does grow our people. So all of our trainees and cadets have an individual development plan, which we put in place for them. And that includes not only just doing your course of study, but also other professional development training, like Darren mentioned some in his chat just a moment ago. But we also look at things like work rotations as well, which, as Barry said, that gives you good exposure to the different work teams and also to the different people within your work area. Every 2 months, we get all of our ATCs together. They come together for what we call a network meeting. And that's a really great opportunity for all of those ATCs to connect and to meet other staff as well, because we engage with others across the organisation to present a variety of different workshops that can help you in your ongoing development at Council. So for me, I really can't wait. I'll be sitting on every single panel that you all are applying for. So I can't wait to read your applications, to get the opportunity to meet with some of you. But I guess importantly, you want to know how to do that. So I'm going to hand you back to Brooke, and she's going to take you in on how to apply for those roles and the next steps in the process. So thanks for everyone for coming tonight.
Thank you, Jules. So before we wrap up tonight, as Jules said, I want to take you through the recruitment process here at PSC, just to make sure that you guys are all fully equipped and ready to submit an application, knowing that we don't want to make it a scary process for you. So the very first step that I recommend you doing is taking a look at the advert and the position description that we have online on our website for the role or the positions that you are most interested in. If you read that position description, you're sitting there with a big smile on your face thinking, yep, this is the one for me. Not only will your parents or your housemates or your partner think that you look quite silly sitting across the computer smiling at yourself, but I think that's a pretty good sign for you to take that step and to actually click apply for and start your application. So before you do start to apply, I want you guys to start making sure that your resume looks 10 out of 10. So we receive so many applications for these roles normally. So you really want to make sure that your resume stands out. So if you're sitting there thinking, where do I start with that? Or I'm not sure where to start. I want you guys to head over to a website called Canva. It's C-A-N-V-A. And they have hundreds of great resume templates that you can use or be inspired by to create your own. You want your resume to have a little bit of your personality in there, but still be quite clear to read. So Canva is the best website to use for that. And the best part of it is also free. So even better, we all love free things. So many of you will also be very, very happy to hear that we do not ask for a cover letter. So we only want your very best up-to-date resume, as well as a copy of your academic transcripts. So that can be your university or your HSC results or your most recent school report as well. And then all you have to do apart from that is upload that and then answer the online criteria within the application that is listed in the advert. So I guess when it comes to writing your criteria responses, a very hot tip for you, make sure you write them in a separate Word document. So I hear so many times where people sit there and they write out all their responses, and then our beautiful system that works so well all the time, it does sometimes have its faults and it does sometimes crash. So my biggest tip for you would be to save it in a Word document separately, and that way if anything does happen, you have it there separately and you can email it through to us if you do struggle to upload it. So make sure you keep that in mind and save that somewhere else. So once you've drafted, you've reviewed them again, you've got someone to check over them about your responses, and then you're ready to click that submit button, upload it. The closing date for your position of interest is always listed in our advert, so keep that in your calendar, and the panel will be shortlisting in the weeks following. So it should take around 2 weeks for our panels to shortlist and have an answer for you as to whether or not you are progressing to the next stage. So I can also say that we are a very proud employer to be part of the Circle Back initiative as well. So you'll definitely hear that means that you're guaranteed a response from us regardless of the outcome of your application. So if you're successful or not, you will always hear back from us. If you are successful in being one of our lucky shortlisted candidates, you will be contacted by one of our hiring managers, and they will get you to join us at either a group assessment or an interview. So because we do receive such a high number of applicants for these groups, we do tend to go through a group assessment or do a group interview. And that gives us a chance to, I guess, meet between 10 to 30 of you before we progress you through to that individual interview. So should the restrictions currently in place under the current public health order still remain at this time, when we do start progressing you through to those group assessments, we're going to get a little bit tech savvy like we have tonight, and we'll be doing them via Zoom, but just in smaller groups, and we'll still make them just as fun as they would have been in person as well for you. So after that group assessment, if you are successful in progressing, we'll move through to an individual interview. And keep in mind, we do normally only take around 3 to 5 candidates through to an individual interview for each role. So to come from that big group assessment of around 10 to 30, that's an achievement in itself to get that far. And then to obviously come through to that group, to that individual interview as well, between 3 and 5 candidates will be selected for that one. So it makes our job as panel members very, very difficult to select from all of you because we have so many good ones to choose from, but it is definitely a job that we have to do. So from here, once you are undertaking your interview, and if you are successful in progressing to the next stage, we take our preferred candidates through to some pre-employment checks and a pre-employment medical, and then we are able to make an offer to our preferred successful candidate. So before we do wrap up, I'm sure you have all been taking notes down, or you've been writing questions to ask and things that you want answered. So if you do have any questions that you would like answered by any of our hiring managers about the positions that they have on hand for you to apply for, or anything about our process, or anything else that you just want to know about council as well, more than happy to answer. If you can send us an email through to our recruitment@portstephens.nsw.gov.au. Don't stress, I know I said that very quickly, but you can find the address on our website under the Work Experience tab online. If emailing isn't your thing and you prefer to contact the hiring manager, more than fine as well. You can find the number for our hiring manager, which I believe is Jules. She's listed on all of them. You can find Jules's number to contact her via phone on any of the adverts that you're applying for as well. So you do have that phone option there too if you want to speak to someone. On that note, I just want to end on saying a big thank you to everyone who has jumped online tonight and has joined us for our first ever virtual event. I know it might be a little bit clunky, but it is our first one and we can only get bigger and better from here. So even if you do have feedback for us on the event, please feel free to email it through as well. I'm more than happy to take that on board and see how we can improve for next time as well if we do continue down this tech savvy path. But yeah, so thank you to all of our hiring managers as well and our legendary employees. We definitely appreciate the time that you've taken outside of office hours. But other than that, you guys are all free to go. So thank you and enjoy your evening.